Former Prime Minister Blair, dear Mr. Blair, Tony, if I may. Lately, you've been on various programs, runner-up to COP26, talking about the importance and significance of dealing with climate change and climate catastrophe. And as a citizen, as a father who could disagree with you, and yet as a former Prime Minister, a lot of people may find this disingenuous. And I tell you why. Because a lot of them are saying, well, wait a minute, Tony Blair talking about climate change? Because climate change is a conflict catalyzer, but at the same time, conflicts are climate change catalyzers. So a lot of people are arguing that Tony took us to Afghanistan 20 years later, little to show, and he was an architect of Iraq war. And those are the legacies, as you know, and you've given interviews, talked about them. But what I wanted to bring to your attention is that narratives around climate change are shaping and forming. One of the biggest outliers are the wars, Tony, are the 20 years of Afghanistan and 20 years of Iraq. And instead of fighting on your legacy and challenging and debating, I think that it would be fantastic if you accept my invitation. I've written a paper proposing a dashboard on measuring the CO2 emissions, Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3 of Afghanistan and Iraq wars. You may say it's not possible. Yes, AI and Microsoft war as well. Established companies like DeepMind, and I know that Blair Institute for Global Change collaborates with Microsoft as well, formulating that through Office of Budgets and budgets that's spent on, fuel consumptions, jet fuel. All of this can be, created as a dashboard and then taken into serious consideration, because I genuinely believe we cannot achieve net zero without stopping arbitrary wars and interventions, Tony. Now, Heraclitus mentioned that no man crosses the same river twice, because neither he's the same man nor the river is the same. You crossed Helmand and you crossed Euphrates, and we know the results of those undertakings. My paper argues for measurement, reflection, and ideally a tax on future arbitrary wars that are not sanctioned by United Nations or Security Council. And come to think about it, if China moves on Taiwan tomorrow, there would be a massive CO2 emissions perhaps. And what better way than having a safeguard as a carbon tax preventing states from adventurism? And now that AUKUS is out and about and there will be a chance of a military accidental clash between, Western powers and China, and we get into a coalition of emitting for the second time, at least in the past 20 years, or third time in the past 20 years, what better way than having a dashboard that measures the CO2 footprint of wars and occupations, and to send the bill to sovereign states. The young men and women in uniform deserve better, and when Derbyshire water dam is about to burst, they are at the front line to protect the people on their homeland. We shouldn't put them in harm's way, because we're generating CO2 that is not declared, that is not accounted for, and then to come back and put them in danger at home as well to mitigate climate change. I would really invite you to work with me and take my challenge and join me at the Blair Institute for Global Change to measure, to create this dashboard. You've crossed those rivers. I'm happy to meet you on either side of Thames. I've already prepared your t-shirt as well, Tony. I hope it's the right size, medium. So give me a ring. Let's have a talk about CO2 emissions and how we can get to an authentic net zero. Thank you.